Good morning, friends. Let's start. Let me just check whether I'm live on FB or not. Okay, I think I am. So good morning, friends. Once again to episode number 8, and we begin our pain point session, episode number 8 for the YEP series. And this is the series of webinars that have been going on since yesterday and will go on till about 30th of December, Saturday. So allow me to share my screen so that we can begin the proceedings. So we'll directly start from the query where we left yesterday. So welcome to pain point session number 8. Today's Wednesday, 27th December. And we have finished till query number 86 from Mumbai, Maharashtra. The previous one was from Mazalgaon, District Beed, Maharashtra. So let's begin session number 8. And of course, all my presentations always begin with thanking the Lord Almighty who's given me much more than what I deserve. And of course, big thanks is due to my dad as well, who has been instrumental in teaching me the clinical part of finance. Good morning, Dr. Ram. How are you? So I can see a few participants on FB group. This is not being streamed in PhD, but another group of mine. So this is my brief CV. You're aware of it by now. So this is episode web number 8, webinar number 268. So season's greetings to all of you. And of course, get a pen and a paper, keep noting down the main points, and writing is the best form of learning. The learning objectives are to finish all the main points in these next 90 minutes. So this is the series of webinars 266, 8, 70, 72, and 74. The YEP series. So let's begin episode number 8, the webinar number 268. And of course, disclaimer, some of the pain points may be boundary, you can say, have a boundary towards finance, but that's absolutely okay with that. Yes, Hari, we'll be doing all those points as well. Thank you. So, okay. So query number 87 from Yavatmal, Maharashtra. Lack of patients, low footfall of big treatment patients, senior dentists charge low and their names in our town is well known since practicing long, and misguide patients that these young dentists charge high and do bad work. Still, after working 10 years of practice, facing same issues with the senior dentist, lack of patients, old patients are coming back and referring as well, but the new footfall is less. So the easiest way I can look at it is, if you have lack of patience, that means you are not visible. Less people know about you. You are not, you can say, I wouldn't say popular, but you are not even visible amongst your target audience for those you expect you to be your patient. So if you are not visible amongst your target audience, how can people throng at your clinic? So if you are not having basic work output flow, so it will be reflected in the OPD as well. So that is the bottom line. Yes, Dr. Rajneesh, we will be. I'll be posting. I'll be taking up the questions. Don't worry. Don't worry. Keep on posting in the chat box. I'll in the comment section. I'll pick up the questions from there in the end if they are not answered by then. So coming back to the query from Yavatmal, the thing is, if you are not visible and audible, or you can say to your prospective audience, how are the patients gonna be coming to you for big ticket cases? The first thing is, you need to create a name for yourself, and you can't blame a senior dentist alone that he is mismanaging. He is not having the OPD of the whole town in his clinic. I'll be completing 24 years in you can say 4 days time, in on 31st of December. So I can say I have not even touched 1/3 of my area population till date, and I have a pretty decent busy OPD even till date. So uh, if you believe that all the town throngs to that senior dentist clinic, I'm sorry, you're mistaken. These are the excuses we give ourselves to hide our incapability. Sorry for saying that, but that is the way. If that senior dentist is saying, maybe one, maybe two patients have told you, who told you that the patient is telling a truth? So rather than that, even if that dentist is saying, you create a name for yourself. It is very simple. These are services which are essential services. People don't the Mercedes and the Audi guys don't complain that Maruti is selling for less, Kia or Hyundai is selling for less than Mercedes or BMW or Audi. So don't hide under the garb of this excuse that seniors are blocking your practice. If even after 10 years of practice you are having lack of patients, it is lack of visibility and maybe lack of confidence and maybe lack of other things. So I talk about these things. The skill set may be there, the confidence may be lacking, the execution may be lacking, the conversion part, the selling oration skills may be lacking. So the question is whether you are ready to make a change, make a degree shift or not. Because unless or until you look beyond that cribbing window, it is not going to give you results in that regard. So uh, even if you say old patients are coming back and referring as well, but the new footfall is less, you create a referral system in your practice where the old patients refer you and you reward them. It's not a bribe, it's not a commission, it's not something. Rewarding them is always in kind in clinics, in our space or healthcare space. They never give back cash commissions to patients, because everybody would want that their known should not get a bad treatment done. So the best solution for you is to indulge in active marketing. And unless you indulge in active marketing, I'm not really sure whether you will have that. And yes, doing the active marketing part, and along with that, you need to really display your talent. You need to display your work done. You need to display your cases. You need to display you need to have your Google reviews in place. You need to have your feedback and testimonials in place. So unless you have all those things, I'm not really sure whether you'll get results or not. So I hope I answer your query. So query from Vadodara, Gujarat, number 88. Practicing in partnership, new area for clinic set up, as so much dental clinics are running in cheaper areas, so confusing to set up dental clinic. For clinic setup for BDS, is it required to pursue any degree course to attract patients flow? Now, practicing in partnership or not, it depends upon your equation with your partner, number one. People always crib about cheaper areas. Vadodara is a tier one city, or between tier one and two, I would say. It is one of the, you can say, lesser known metros. So if you claim that there are cheaper areas, there will be average areas also. There will be expensive areas also. If you are confident of your skill set, if you're confident of the practice that you are going to open or you want to open, I mean to say, you want to open a state of the art practice, investing heavily in your practice. Nothing wrong if you have the resources, but you are taking loan and doing that, absolutely wrong approach. So, and of course, own space or rented space, putting too much of, you can say, money and investment in the interior space for, you can say, for a rented place, which is not going to give you good returns. God forbid your clinic does not run. So partnership or non-partnership is secondary. The thing is, first look down on various areas. So I have a video on that on my YouTube channel, things to look out for when you open up a new practice. There are a lot of things. Firstly, know what kind of target group you are targeting. So if you're targeting a middle class group or a high income group, or you can say business class, accordingly the data is available with the local counselor as well. It is as simple as, you can say, as easy as possible. The data is available with each local counselor, जिसको आप लोग उस area में corporator भी बोलते हो. So they are available with them. So just get them, go through the data, study them, and then decide upon where to open up, and then whether to open up in partnership or not, because usually friends start to open, that usually spoils their friendship also. I'm not against a partnership, but clearly get your priorities right. If you believe that you can survive and thrive in a partnership like this, so nothing wrong. And you can say, I believe that it should be the way to go. So no, as a BDS, you don't need to do any degree course to attract patient flow. You just need to be aware of the marketing, offline marketing, online marketing, social media marketing. And once you are done with that, yes, these are the organic ways. Then you need to know about the paid or the performance marketing. Performance marketing is which actually is like a machine. You put in money from this end, you will get results from the other end. But having said that, before you go in for paid, the organic base in the form of your website, your social media presence, your content on social media, your educational content on social media needs to be there, so that whosoever comes across your ad gets a validation from those presence online, because everybody will check. We are living in a world where people seek validation, so it's absolutely normal if they are doing that. So the days of word of mouth referral are no longer only valid. I'm not saying that has gone, but they are no longer only valid. The world is now restricted in this device which we call as the cell phone. It is a 5 6 inch, whatever, 7 inch device. So that is the way the world has shrunk into our hands. And this makes sure that most of the searches, around 90% of the searches, happen here. So if you are not present online, if even if in the organic mode, then you are missing out on a huge chunk of audience. So I hope this answers your query. Query number 89 from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Less footfall, less high ticket patients, less knowledge in upgrading the clinical practice, fear of investing in clinic, managing staff, work-life balance. So if you see, the patterns are just like the same. In Vadodara, Gujarat, we address this query: less footfall, less high-ticket patients. The problem with footfall is that we have been taught doctor काम करेगा and doctor का काम reflect करेगा in his word of mouth. It's no longer valid. It's no longer valid, my dear friends. It is the new world. The world begins from Google. Everything that we search, Google, Binge, or whatever, Yahoo, or whichever search engine you are using, predominantly Google is the favorite one for most of us. So we don't even say search. We say nothing. If we don't know anything, let's ask Google. We don't say we search on a search engine. So that is how popular the Google is. And if you are, you can say, not respecting the online presence, the online, you can say, audience, you need to be knowing it in that ways. People complain sometimes, in this world you are not present online, you don't have a customer care number, you don't have a website. People sometimes complain to common service providers. I'm not saying dentists or doctors, but they complain to common service providers. So the time is going to come when people are going to actually challenge and question that why isn't the online customer care present for you as well. There will be time, so beware of that time. With the AI creeping in our lives, anything is possible in the coming days. So the problem is that the people who are technologically challenged need to remember that 20 years back, even I didn't have a 22 years back, I didn't have a computer. So I was the last one in my family to get a phone, normal phone, a burner phone, as you say. So everyone in my family had a phone except me. I was the last one in my family to get a smartphone. So I'm not a very gadget freak person, but yes, when it was about to computer, I, you can say, got it first amongst all my friends, and I have been regularly upgrading all the systems. We change laptops every year. I upgraded my desktop also this year. So the upgrade in the thought process is needed. If I am a 47-year-old guy who was born in the mid 70s, and a mid 70s guy was as naive as you guys, most of you. So if you find yourself technologically challenged, that you have, remember, these all are learnable skills, and you cannot hide under the garb, you can say, any longer, that I am not knowing it, I can't do it, I am very technologically challenged. All these things, all these, you can say, things don't hold any validity, anything now. So it's better that you be online, in the online space, and be organically present, and then going for the performance marketing, paid marketing, which gives your patients a validating reason to pick yourself up. So less knowledge in upgrading the clinical practice, fear of investing in clinic. Fear of investing in clinic, upgradation, you need to plow back your profits, as it is, as I give the formula, TWCGO formula. 10% of your operating profits, of you can say 10% of your yes, operating profits need to be plowed back or need to be flown back into the profession itself. Whether or not you immediately make a purchase for that, or you keep that money separate for a big purchase, that is absolutely your choice. But the decor, the chair, the furniture, the switches, the fan, the AC, or whatever, you can say every now and then some things in your clinic will need a change. It is not always that the upgrade means a new equipment. Sometimes we don't need any new equipment for 2 to 3 years, and if you have majority of them present at the start, it's not that you have to buy everything that comes your way, that comes in the market. You don't have to buy each and everything on that. So don't be fearful of investing in clinic. The answer lies in your question only. Fear of investing in clinic. When you invest in some things, it is bound to reap you dividends, and this is one thing which you will work on daily basis. So don't be fearful. Any investment, if held for good time, is going to give you returns. So if you don't have knowledge, we have WhatsApp communities running. So these communities will complete it 6 years next month in Jan. So for 6 years we are running these communities. These are not, of course, available 24/7, but we are available at least 18 hours in the day. Me, Rajat, Raghu, whichever way, whichever admin, and there are many group members as well who like to participate. So ask your queries, ask your doubts. If you are, you can say, hiding under the gap ki main puchunga to sharam aayegi, you have to drop that while, and you can say get into that zone where you feel, where you know that yes, this thing is beneficial for me. None of us, you can say, is a born magician or a born wizard. We all learn, adapt, and evolve with time. So managing staff, simply saying, we need to understand the staff needs to be handled in 4 ways. We need to give them monetary growth, which is a no-brainer. We stop at that point only. We don't go beyond the monetary growth part. We need to give them career growth opportunities as well, to upgrade their skill, to add to their upskilling, to add to their knowledge, to add to their skill set, to make them more and more employable and efficient or productive in our clinic. And then, of course, the respect and care. They don't need to be abused, they don't need to be shouted at, they need to be respected. They are also human beings, and of course everyone has a ego, big or small. And then lastly, work-life balance for them. So don't if you have a problem that you are having patients on Sunday, close down your clinic on Monday. That's absolutely okay. Once a week, you can say one holiday a week is a must for you and your staff both. You need time for rejuvenation. Very soon we will be having a time in India where we will also be following a 5-day week culture. We are anyways following the Western trend since long now. So we will be following the Western culture of 5-day weekend, 5-day week and 2-day weekend very soon. So people who are working 7 days, they are gonna have a very tough time if this becomes a generalized acceptable norm everywhere. So yes, occasional working on Sundays, if you have taken a leave or a vacation, is fine, but to work regularly every Sunday is absolutely crime. Then work-life balance. And I mentioned that in the staff, if you have a problem that you can't keep your clinics closed on Sundays or holidays, don't make your problem your staff's problem. It is your problem. So work alone. So give them a holiday. So work-life balance, most of us are running this rat race. It is absolutely fine as well, to an extent, not fully. To an extent it is fine, but believing that things would be same after, you can say, after a few years when your responsibilities increase, is absolutely wrong on your part. We need to live an and life and not an or life, because we tie our life goals to certain things. First, I start earning this much amount, then I will relax. It is a monkey mind that we have at the top of our floor. It does not settle. It does not settle for less. So we need to be sure, be very, very sure that whether our goals are realistic or not, number one. Number two, whether we want to live only our clinic life. We don't want to prepare for our wealth planning, for our future retirement. We don't want a good relationship with our family, including spouse, kids, and parents, of course. Relatives को तो बाहर निकाल दो window से. Whether we want a recreation time for ourselves, whether we want something spiritual or meditation or something me time, I would say, with ourselves, whether we would want to, you can say, go back and contribute to the society in whatever way we can. So all these parameters of, you can say, and life, there are 7 parameters. So that includes your career as well. So career, wealth, relationship, recreation, vacation, spirituality, and of course charity. All these parameters, they need to be taken care of in equal way. I want wealth, I want career and wealth and relationship and recreation and spirituality and charity and whatever you want to add to that. You don't want either I can do clinic work or I can handle responsibilities. I can't handle both of them. मैं क्लिनिक का काम करूं कि मैं करूं, this is an excuse that we tend to give ourselves. So get over this excuse, and I hope I have answered your query. So query number 90. Query from Rajkot. Feel that ethics are best. I don't know whether right. Facing issues of having less patients than previous years in some treatment. Some treatment complications are part, so take help of postgraduate specialists, but face their issues, and also some patients have less satisfaction. Some complications like anesthesia, etc., create fear and unable to explain properly patient for charges of treatment or so. Documentation lacking, unable to explain properly charges or so. So feel that ethics are the best. I don't know whether right. So ethics are right or not, that is absolutely, you have repeated the couple of things twice, the charges part and the ethics parts. Never mind. So that is not the question whether you have repeated or not. What I mean to make sure and tell you here is that if you feel you're working ethically, it's absolutely fine. You need to be answerable first to yourself and not to anyone else. So the patients need to be told clearly, specifically at the start that we are offering these facilities through a specialist. Some people feel, you can say, a pain here. Patient क्या बोलेगा, आपको ये भी नहीं आता. If the patient says the same, you can always reply back. A gynaec can't, you can say, treat the skin infections. Okay. And a skin specialist can't treat the ear infections. And a ear specialist, ENT specialist, can't treat the eye infections. So there are different specialities. A dentist is already handling too much work, or you can say, whichever way the things are. The next mode is that when the case is complicated, we need the services of a specialist. The problem is you have to convince yourself first. Patient को तो आप बाद में convince करोगे ना. So unless you convince yourself first, I'm not really sure whether things can say improve for you mentally first. So change your thought process first, then only think about other things. So of course, anesthesia is a thing which should be feared. The best thing is, if you want to be 100% sure, go in for a patch test in each and every non-exposed case. Or if you change your LA. Some people are shifting from lignocaine to mepivacaine or bupivacaine. If you are shifting your LA, do a patch test in each of patient. Let's suppose you're sticking on to lignocaine. The patients with the previous exposure will not have an overnight change or an overnight allergy. rarest of the rare circumstances they may have, so which is again 1 in a million or 1 in a billion. It's not that common thing, so to be fearful of that is wrong. But yes, in the non-exposed cases, please do a patch test. 0.1 0.2 ml subcutaneous dose, hair on the forearm, maximum for 48 hours. I do it for 48 hours. You can do it for 12 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours. 48 is the upper limit. I have faced an allergy, so I do it for 48 hours. Unless my patient is in severe pain, then you can say manage with Vovran injections in the back or whatever IM, or whichever way the patient feels pain via tablet, or whichever way the patient is comfortable, I do that. But I never ever skip the patch test, because that gives me confidence and non-fearful approach when using anesthesia especially. So if you're lacking documentation, the best way is to learn documentation. The thing is, it is not about aap seekhenge karenge. It is mandatory by the law. You need to know about these things. If you're not knowing these things, you are actually unethical, because this is a mandate by DCI. Maintaining records is an ethical requirement. So your first and the last line says you're following ethics, but if you're not maintaining records, you don't have proper records or lacking documentation, you're actually bordering on being unethical. So don't mind me saying that. You need to improve on that count. So unable to explain properly charges or so, again, the same stems from underconfidence. Confidence in yourself, your skill set, and your procedure outcome. There are three things: confidence in yourself, your skill set, and your procedure outcome. It comes from being there, being, you can say, making yourself present in those situations where you can say present in those situations where you have handled those kind of situations before. And of course, those situations can be really handy for you in that regard, that you know that been there, done that kind of an approach. So that is the best way you can handle those situations. So I hope I have answered your query. So query number 91 from Pune, Maharashtra, assistant maintenance, must be spelling error. So maintenance, I train assistant, they leave when they get better prospect, I guess. So they want unnecessary leaves. I get irritated with it. The question is how often you give them clarity. If you don't give them clarity, you are bound to face these kind of situations. And assistant maintenance nahi hota ye cheez. It is staff retention primarily. And staff retention will come only if your staff is happy on 4 counts that I keep on mentioning again and again: career growth, monetary growth, work-life balance, and respect and care. This is one aspect of being retention. Then they need a clarity about what they need to perform, their JD, the job description document, if you have or not, but at least give them a clarity of what they need to do or accomplish in your clinic as a part of their duty. Then those 4 aspects: job clarity, job description clarity, then you need to tell them about the work culture in your clinic. And these things are to be done at the start so that they can make a decision there and then. If you link it up to a disciplined approach, it will be followed. Disciplined approach in the sense that you mention it, you will be given 1 leave per month or whatever your clinic policy says, and that is free. If you go beyond that, definitely your salary would be deducted. You mention these things on day one, they'll make a decision. Nobody can say everybody gets a salary deduction if they make unnecessary leaves. Yes, be kind and considerate if the patient has a genuine problem. Maybe the patient, not the patient, sorry, the staff. If that staff member falls sick, is really ill, or fever, or any infection, or any kind of, you can say, medical problem, genuine one, or patient's immediate kith and kin, parents, father or mother, is absolutely in a wrong condition, bad medical condition, be little considerate before deducting a salary. those things can be adjusted later on as well. Having said that, 8 out of 10 will feel good, 2 will still ditch you, and that's okay. This is not a Satyug we are living in. This is Kalyug, and not even Kalyug, this is Kalyug 2.0. So remember, so they will be very, very loyal to you if you stand by them in their tough times. Yes, if the staff says, I want to go for a vacation for 4 days, fine, you'll get a deduction of 3 days of salary. Absolutely fine. These kind of things are not allowable. Or maybe if your clinic policy allows them to give a vacation leave, because if you are taking a vacation once a year or twice a year, if your policy allows them to take a vacation once or twice in a year, then it is okay. But if you don't allow it, then mention it clearly. So then it is there in their head that it is to be done. Now, if the staff misbehaves, it is all stemming down from us. We tell them to come at 9, the 9 a.m. clinic starts, and we ourselves don't reach our clinic at 9 a.m. We come at 9:30 just because we don't have an appointment that day. So the staff will feel खुद तो टाइम पे आते नहीं, मुझे टाइम पे बुला लेते हैं. So that is the kind of approach they are going to have. So it is all trickling down from top to bottom. So the hierarchy has to be followed. Don't get irritated with it. Give them clarity, follow them, make them follow the office culture, put it in their head, give them you can say all the 4 aspects of growth that I mentioned, and you will face less attrition. 80% of the time this will be successful. But yes, if you train them, you can say, and pay them well, they are not going to leave you. People will die to work with you if you have a great office culture and you have that. People look for better prospects after training because maybe you are offering less salary. That is a simple explanation or logical explanation that I can give you. So I hope I answered that query. Yes, to add over there are staff training programs happening in Pune and Mumbai itself. Colleagues are doing those. I think Dr. Vanita Kashyap Sagar is doing that staff training program, assistant training program. So you can enroll your staff in there if you don't want to spend your precious time training them. So it depends upon what kind of work structure you have, what kind of OPD you have, what kind of free time you have, how many staff members you have. From your query, I feel that you probably have 1 or 2 staff members. So that is the problem is going to come. The simple solution is to have multiple staff members as well. For that, you need to increase the work. You don't, you can say, पहले मैं OPD बढ़ जाए, फिर मैं staff रखूंगा. It's not. You have to be prepared for that role beforehand. So I hope I answered that query. Okay. Query number 92 from Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. The conversion ratio is very low. Conversion ratio is very low. It needs to, you can say, be assessed that where are you lacking? Are you lacking in the confidence part? Are you lacking in the skill part? Or are you lacking in the oration part, or you can say conveying to the patient part? So either of the 3, if you are lacking, you can rest be assured that these all are learnable skills. You can always make a difference. You can always make a difference in your family members, in your patients' lives, by conveying them what services you offer. The best validation patients can get is through your before after cases, through your patient testimonials. Sometimes when we are not good with our words, we tend to flounder. So the presentations, cases, testimonials, reviews come as our savior, where we can speak somewhat and add a dash of that. Of course, when you're going to show them the cases, you have to seek a prior permission first. So if you are doing that, you will be assured that those things are absolutely followed in the best possible manner. So if still you feel conversion ratio is low, then learn the art of selling. I do a sales workshop as well, advanced selling. But yes, before enrolling in the sales advanced part, you need to do the basic practice management workshop with me before you go in for the advanced selling part. So I hope I answered your query. So query from Nagpur, Maharashtra, staff issues when the staff gets old, means experience, they don't follow as instructed. In fact, they think they are indispensable. New staff to be kept, but issues are space, as I run small clinic with 3 staff. Total working areas 200 square feet, including waiting. So absolutely fine. I can understand the problem of plenty and problem of scarcity. Both affect every one of us. So the question is whether your staff is paid well or not, because these kind of issues, the first thing, they indispensability comes when they are not paid well, or they don't have a clarity of you can say their job structure or job description, or what work role they have to perform, or they are not in sync with the office culture or the work culture. So if either of these things is lacking, then primarily the fault lies not with them. Primarily, I said. Secondarily, maybe with them. Primarily, the fault lies with you. If you are not compensating them on the 4 counts, not maintaining them well, not you can say keeping them attrition free, I would say. So the second thing, you need to make sure that they have a proper clarity of the role they're going to perform. Number 3, they should be knowing how things work in your clinic. But then, having said that, if you have to maintain office culture, you need to make sure that you follow the same yourself. So if you are you can say considerate enough, you will find those results very, very soon. So new staff to be get, but issues are space, as I ran. So if your work is exceeding your area, normally people have reverse. They have more space but less patients. So if you are having a reverse issue, it is a problem of plenty. It's time to look for you for a bigger area. Look for an adjoining shop if available. Look for a bigger area nearby if possible, and if affordable, and if falling in your budget. All these things, these are investments that we make in our practice, and these are the things that are small little jumps that actually make a big difference in our lives. I'll quote you my example. So I was, you can say, I had my clinic in my residence. It happened by accident only. I never wanted to open a clinic at that point of time, but one of my friends booked a second-hand chair with a guy. We were working. I was working there in a hospital, in a kind of a tier 3 hospital, I would say, a very small kind of dental department over there, and my contract was with them till December, and I was supposed to change a job from Jan 2000. So my friend wanted to go to Canada. He had applied for a PR over there, and I'm talking of the year 1998, 99. So he, you can say, did a deal with them that as I was free from there, or maybe a month before, he'll pick up all the dental department. You can say that guy wanted to wind up the dental department. So he'll pick up all the stuff from there and do it. And you can say the deal was done, and the advance was paid. About 15 to 20,000 rupees of advance was paid. The clinic total costing was put up at 63 or 65,000 approximately. So and my friend was very happy. He was my batchmate, of course. And as luck would have it, the day he did that, 2 days after that, he got a call from embassy that your visa has jumped the queue and you are having your visa interview next week. And he was like, what the hell? I've just paid 20,000 rupees, and 20,000 rupees 25 years back was a huge amount. It was, you can say, akin to 2 lakhs of today, roughly, I would say. So it was a huge amount. So I would say, and to put things in perspective, I was earning rupees 2,000 in a charitable hospital in the morning, and I could easily save about 1,000 rupees or 800 rupees from that 2,000 as well. So even 1,200 or 1,000 rupees was my living cost. Of course, eating food from family in my house where I don't have to pay anything. My own lifestyle expenses and my petrol expenses were my only, or maybe my recreation movies and whatever we had to pay for cricket or whatever in those days. So these were my expenses. So you can imagine in today's times, I need at least 20,000. So I'm just equating 10 times of that. So my friend was in a dilemma. So he came to my father, who he said, Uncle, what should I do? Should I forego the advance, or what should I do? Or should I buy it and resell to someone? I'm not sure, because if my interview goes through, I probably won't have even a month to make things work and go to Canada. And my dad looked at me after thinking over. He looked at me, why don't you buy and open it up? And I was like, why? Why should I open it up? I don't want to open up the clinic right now. Said, you have worked on that chair. Are you comfortable with that? Yes, chair is fine. I can work on that. So absolutely fine. No problem. So I said, okay, no problem. Go and open up your clinic. Maybe this is the jump that you need. And here we were. I just, you can say, we had one room in the backyard of our house. It was a 10 by 7 room. Just bought a, you can say, got a table manufactured as per the space, where I can keep the accessories and everything, the kind of cabinet as we use today. So just got that designed and got it made. And of course, the cabinet that I got made was for 2,200 rupees, a huge wooden cabinet. I still have it today. And sturdy materials. You don't get dodgy materials in those times. And I opened up my clinic on 1st Jan 2000 with that second-hand chair in a 10 by 7 room in my backyard. Now, as luck would have it, I was doing practice only in the evening, but my starting average of practice was 10,000 rupees per month. So I had a decently good staff, and the average was above 10,000. Again, I'm talking the yearly average. Yes, there were months when I had 7,000-8,000 income as well in those days. But then there were months when I had about 15, 20, sometimes 25 as well. So the average came down to 10 to 11,000 approximately. Now, as I was going through the practice, going through the, you can say, the clinical woes. The backside of my house was, you can say, for sale. It opened up on the main road. So my dad was again interested in that. He said, we'll make this as a clinic for your, you can say, your new clinic. So we looked at the area. We knew that some lot of work needed to be done. But yes, we bought that area almost 2.5 years of my initial practice in July 2002. And when we bought that, we started, you can say, renovating that area. And I had a clarity in my mind that I needed this. Having gone through the clinical space, I knew what the problems were. So I designed my area, my clinical area of my present clinic also myself, without the need of an architect. So, and the only thing I was skeptical was my dad was spending a huge amount. He said, I'm not spending on your clinic. I'm spending on the property that we are buying. It is adjoining to our house. Now we'll have two houses together. So it is, you can say, a future preparation for you two brothers, because my brother had also taken up admission in BDS at that time. So he was also going to be a dentist very soon, and said, I'm planning for the future in that sense. Luck would have it, he went in for the armed forces later on in a short service commission, and then for the DPC, direct permanent commission. But why I'm telling you all this is that push of moving to a bigger space suddenly catapulted me into a bigger zone. And my starting average in this clinic was about 75,000 in year 2003. I shifted here on January 2003. Again, to tell you, I was working only in evening. Till the first 6 months of my new clinic as well, I was working in evening timings only. I shifted to full-time practice on 15th of June 2003. Almost 3.5 years of doing evening practice. So yes, I'm into 24th year, will be starting 25th year soon. But that push from a 10 by 7 room to a, you can say, 2,200 square feet area is absolutely a big jump for me, and has been the game changer. And whatever in my life I have earned is from this clinic only. And till date, I'm earning. People find me doing so much of content marketing every day, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere, taking these webinars. So many people ask me, have you left your practice? Are you not doing the practice? And they get a shocker when I say I'm doing 8 to 9 hours of practice till date. The next question is, how do you manage time? Again, those things are outside the purview of this question. What I mean to tell you is that it is time that if you're having good enough work, good enough staff members, having good staff members is a very, very difficult proposition in today's times. So if you want to make a jump, and that jump can be a game changer for you. The only thing is you have to take your steps cautiously. Don't be overtly ambitious. Don't be overtly, you can say, confident. Being confident is good, but being overconfident is really bad. So once you have those things, I'm sure sky will be the limit for you. So I hope I answer your query through a personal example. So query number 94 from Navi Mumbai, Maharashtra. Not able to charge more, footfall is less. Too much money going for upgradation. Documentation is much time consuming. Documentation requires space as if it was easy, if it was digital. Now the question is, if you are not able to charge more, what is the fault? You need to find out the, you can say, reasons. Are you not able to charge because of your selling skills? Are you not able to charge because of your domain skills or dentistry skills? Are you not able to charge because you are underconfident? Are you not able to charge probably because you are not, you can say, sure about the treatment outcome? Are you not able to charge because your patients are too cranky, or you can say they are too over expecting? Are you not able to charge more because you have not set the expectations right at the start? Think on these factors. Think on all those things that can make a difference, or that may make a difference. What would you do? I always tell colleagues to put yourself in that situation. Whom is your ideal? For example, if I, you can say, drop a catch, I will look up to MS Dhoni, who is my idol. And I would envisage what would have Dhoni done in such a situation if he was in my place. And I do exactly the same. Sometimes we have answers inside of us, but we don't want to explore. We don't want to go into those territories which can give us the solutions really. Footfall is less. That means you are less visible. You are not bothered about marketing yourself. You're losing out on a huge chunk of audience which is present online today. Even the offline audience is present online today. In fact, people complain with if we are not present online today. Too much money going for upgradation. You are a classical example of FOMO. You're buying things based on Facebook university, you can say WhatsApp colleges, or Facebook university, or whatever you can say. Everything that is displayed on Facebook is not for sale, is not for buying, especially in the dentistry groups. Wherever you are associated, I won't name them, but if you come across any new things, ascertain whether you need it or not. The question is that most of us don't even know where our revenue comes from. You may be a periodontist, but your primary income may be coming from Crown and Bridge. So if your income is coming from Crown and Bridge, why do you need to invest? Why do you need to invest in a piezotome or an ultrasonic unit? You need to first invest in a scanner. Just giving you a perspective and an example in that sense. So if your too much money is going for upgradation, then probably you need to give yourself a reality check whether those machines, gadgets, or upgradations that you have bought recently, I'm not sure what you have upgraded on, whether it is on the decor or on the equipment. I'm presuming it to be on equipment. So if it is, you have presumed that it is on equipment, then I would say get a reality check done whether or not it has been actually beneficial for you. What is the ROI over there, and how many times have you used it? How many times have you, you can say, received results with the same? Documentation is time consuming. Delegate it to someone able. You can do the supervision part. Don't try to do everything by yourself. It's my hand folded request to you. Don't try to do everything. You are not Superman or Superwoman. Yeah, Superwoman may still exist, but even Superwoman, I won't suggest that Superwoman also does everything by themselves. So need to remember that very, very clearly. Now, documentation does require space, because some documentations we are still supposed to maintain it in a physical format, like the consent forms, like you can say your treatment claim bills and other things. But the rest of the things like your indoor OPD record, your patient cards or whatever, you can maintain all those things in a digital format. Yes, it would have been easy if everything was digital, but consents and a few other things are still allowed, are not allowed to be kept in a digital way. We have to maintain it in a physical format for at least a period of 3 years. So if you're not maintaining that, you're actually bordering on being unethical. So it's better that you stick on to what the law says rather than, you can say, asking for your wishful list. Yes, with time, maybe your wishful list may be fulfilled, but presently it's not. So I hope I answer your query. So query number 95 from Indi, Karnataka. So the first thing I came to know there while answering the query, that Indi is actually a place in Karnataka. I never knew before this. As I mentioned yesterday night also, Silod was a place in Maharashtra. I didn't know. So anyways, so I have patients, but not high ticket patients. I'm not able to convince patients to zirconia crowns and implants. I'm doing more work with less money. Since 1 year, three more dental clinics opened up in our place. Newly opened doctors kept charges very low. Now patients start comparing prices with newcomers. I'm not doing any advertisement. I'm not taking consent for patients. How to insist patients to consent? I want to know more about professional indemnity. Which company and policy is good? Okay, so your question itself has the answers mentioned in there. So if I'm not able to convince patients for zirconia or implants, then you need to understand that probably it is stemming from lack of confidence or lack of good oratory skills or lack of skill set or lack of execution or lack of proper outcome. There has to be some loophole somewhere. Look out for that. It's not about convincing part. Selling is not about putting pressure on the patient and convincing them. Selling is a skill which is to be done graciously and not to be done in a pushy manner. It is always, you can say, to be told in such a manner that why buy this, why buy from me, and why buy now. These are the three essential components in selling or sales skills. So if you are not concentrating on why buy this, why buy from me, and why buy now, the thing is, when selling implants and zirconias, we tend to focus more on the features. You need to focus on the benefits, not on the features. We all buy phones with the latest features. How many times we have actually used those latest features? Hardly. So features is not something that anybody or everybody would be impressed with, but benefits. What is in it for me? WIIFM approach. If the patients understand the benefits of WIIFM approach, then they are surely going to buy it. And it's not that you need to have a good persuasion skill. It is about the selling skill that you need to have, which is going to make a difference to the patient. So since 1 year, three more dental clinics, pretty much less. In my area, six dental clinics, five or six dental clinics have opened up in the past 1 year. So do I need to complain? No. I am at a much higher level in terms of practice, you can say, compared to them. I am at a much more, sitting on a much more happy and a satisfied patient base compared to them. So it is about what I am delivering to my patients. It should be reciprocable. I won't have everyone from my area visiting me, and that's an absolute true fact. I won't have everyone walking through the door be my patient. 72% is the ideal conversion rate. So people keep their charges low. How do you know? Are you poking into their clinic knowing about what they are charging, or the patients are telling you? Yes, patients will tell you, but then you need to understand the categorization of the patients: A, B, C, D. Amazing, breadwinning, convenience, and dangerous. You are looking at only C category or the convenience category of patients who compare pricing. Everybody is not comparing pricing when it comes to healthcare. So if you are having only the pricing issue, then you're having probably the wrong target group of patients. You need to understand that the wrong target group of patients means you have not actually reached out to your prospective patients who can be a true calling. That means you have not even targeted or have not even been able to penetrate to the A and the B patients, the amazing and the breadwinning patients. So target them. And what is the way to do? You have already told, I'm not doing any advertisement. You don't need to do advertisement. You need to do marketing. Marketing has to be organic first, in the form of websites, in the form of your social media presence, in the form of your content, in the form of your educational marketing being done. Having an organic base setup and then following it up with paid or performance marketing, which you may call advertising. And again, that to be done on SMM, social media marketing way. So it is not to be done in the print media or the digital media. And along with the organic presence online, which I've just told, in the form of website, social media, and content and education content to be posted by educating your target audience, you need to collaborate on the offline way as well, to your nearby shopkeepers, to the nearby people, to the nearby, you can say, senior citizen bhavan, maybe Rotary, maybe a BNI, maybe a school, maybe a college, by making people aware. It's not about selling yourself everywhere. It is about creating a mindset. It is about creating a perception in their mind. Yes, dental care is that important. So if you create awareness, they'll automatically get conscious. Yes, that doctor came to us, he told us everything. Let me find out where the doctor is. He'll Google it. Not everybody is going to come on their scooter or their car searching out for you. So the best thing people do is Google. So that is why organic presence online makes a big difference. Even if you're technologically challenged, get your children to do it. If you are not comfortable, get faceless in the terms of content. It is a world where, you can say, घूंघट उठेगा तभी राधा नाचेगी. That approach. If you don't have that approach, then you are lacking somewhere, my dear friend. I'm not taking consent for patients, which is absolutely wrong. You're doing an unethical thing. Not taking consent, not borders, but actually falls in the unethical categories. So how to insist patients to consent? It is not a form that Shashi Kapoor will make Amitabh Bachchan sign, as he did in the movie Diwar in the 1970s. It is not, भाई तुम साइन करते हो कि नहीं, अप्रोच नहीं चाहिए बॉस. कंसेंट इतने साल हो गए मेरे को बोलते हुए. इट इज अ वर्बल फर्स्ट. It is a verbal detailing first, detailing of every small little thing. Once you do the verbal, the written becomes just a formality. Explain the thing, spend time with the patient. But the problem in the mindset is, फॉर्म दे दो मुझे, फॉर्म दे दो मुझे, फॉर्म दे दो, मैं साइन करवा दूं. अरे फॉर्म दे भी दूंगा तो भी साइन नहीं करेगा पेशेंट. तो भी साइन नहीं करेगा पेशेंट. फिर क्या कर लोगे? फिर कहोगे पेशेंट साइन नहीं करता है. बिकॉज वी लुक आउट फॉर एक्सक्यूजेस एंड द इजियर वेज आउट. वी ऑलवेज लुक आउट कि हाँ, यही काम हुआ, इसकी गलती. ये काम नहीं हुआ, इसकी गलती. We keep on pinpointing fingers at each and everything around us, without even bothering, without even looking inside of us, that yes, the true fault may be with us as well. So try to look into those things. Maybe it can come handy for you. Want to know more about professional indemnity, which company and policy is good. I have 2 videos on YouTube channel. I have an Instagram carousel. I have an Instagram reel on same. And I'm writing a blog currently in the group, FB group PSD as well. So 2 parts have been done. The third part would be out this Thursday. So go through it. That should answer you. If you want to judge the company and the policy, it's not going to be good, because it is a need dependent things. लोग कार व्हीकल इंश्योरेंस के लिए पूछते हैं. I've given so many riders. I buy my policy myself online, looking at all the riders what I want, depending upon the old car and depending upon the new car. So what all I want, that is to be seen. So I hope I have answered your query and given you enough food for thought. Query number 96 from Ulhasnagar, Maharashtra. So decreasing new footfalls, new to new age digital marketing. So see, when Facebook came or internet came, before that, when internet came, we were amused. We started using only the email. We were amused by that how email can reach so many people so fast. Then slowly things kept on improving, and then you can say 8 to 9 years later, 2006-7 onwards, we had Orkut in 2004. Then we had Facebook. So many things went and came and went away. We don't even know. But Facebook came, then Instagram, was launched in 2013. It bombed badly. It was a imaged, you can say, site which was launched before Facebook bought it and turned it into a sensation. Now Instagram is the, you can say, the in thing today. So new to new age marketing is absolutely fine on that part. What I believe is that there is always a learning curve. There are always children in the family who can tell about these things better to us. So regarding decreasing new footfalls, I can understand. It is about, if you are so many years into practice, the best thing for you would be to first ascertain how much is your old and new patient retention rate, or you can say how much is the ratio of your old patient versus your new patients. So this is one distinction you need to make very clearly. The ideal ratio is 70 is to 30, 70 old, 30 new. So it is not a rocket science that we tend to believe that only new is good for us. A combination of new and old in 1/3 to 2/3 ratio, new 1/3, old 2/3 practically, or 70/30, you can say 60/33, whatever you wish to. So this is one of the way to do it. So if the footfalls are decreasing, you need to have a look what has been the reason. Has it been the satisfaction thing? Has it sorry has it been the satisfaction thing, or has it been anything else pertaining to that? What are actual reasons of the same? Look out for those causes, and I really hope you'll get a solution. I hope I've answered your query. So query from Ballarpur, Chandrapur, Maharashtra. Less OPD, need to deal bargaining patient, lost so many patients because other dentists are doing it less cost. As said by patients are not very sure about the facts. Need to upgrade, but as less OPD, fear of for doing so. As I always say, your questions will always have your answers. So your line written in the bracket is your answer. Patients not very sure about the facts. When the patients are not sure about the knowledge you can say, or the intricacies of the dentistry or the dental profession, we need to make sure that we give them the knowledge, we arm them, equip them with the knowledge that is so very desired for such kind of a situation. So patients need to be told all the things at the start. We need to make sure that the start is the defining moment, to clear and, you can say, settle the expectations right at the start. I yesterday, I'll give you an example of yesterday only. So the patient had come to me 1 week back with his father, underwent medical investigations. He is a 90-year-old patient, 90, and he is a retired superintendent of police, SP, in my area only. And he is, you can say, very conscious of that fact. He always says, I have been a retired SP. When you had an issue in this area, I was the one who got it sorted. And he's mentioning of the 90s, when I didn't even have a shop or a clinic in this area. So that's perfectly okay, because whatever dispute was there, he must have solved it before he was 60. So 30 years back, I was not into practice. He said, you ask, you were there, you were that. So when I politely told him, and of course, we went through the case history, detailing and everything. The treatment estimate part went in, the medical investigation part went in. Luckily, he's medically healthy, on none of medications, and the medical reports were also normal. So it was a time to actually do the detailing and the consent part. So again, as the Indian mentality is there, he sat down, he said, I want to tell you that I have been a retired SP. Again, started with the same, I won't say the rant, but because the oldies have a little bit of memory problem, so they tend to keep repeating the same thing. So I understand that part, and I don't absolutely mind those things. So he kept on mentioning, I am a retired SP, I have been instrumental in making this, you can say, that the common resolution between the dispute which was there among the shopkeepers and everything. So I said, uncle, what do you want? Please tell me very clearly. I want that, my money is very hard earned money, you should not be doing it. And I was thinking, sir, 30 साल आपको रिटायर हुए को हो गए हैं, हार्ड एंड मनी तो सबका ही होता है. इवन आई हैव एन हार्ड एंड मनी इन फ्रॉम माय प्रैक्टिस. सो इट्स नॉट अबाउट द हार्ड एंड मनी पार्ट. So it's about, you can say, realizing that it is the time you spend on yourself. and his teeth are really in a bad shape. So I have given in an estimate of about 80,000 or so, and he was like, we need to reduce this amount, we need to reduce this amount. So yesterday was the consent signing and the discussion part. I'm supposed to begin that case from Monday onwards. So I told him very clearly. And imagine, I told you the case started last week. Still not started with the treatment. Still the paperwork going on. Still everything is going to be a long case. Money involved. So the expectation setting is right. So I actually sat down. You can say made a, you can say made him made his son sit quietly outside, and I was talking one to one. I gestured him to please don't speak in between. So I had a one-to-one talk with that patient, with that senior citizen, super senior citizen, I would say. So he said, I want, you should be doing the best of the treatment, you'll be doing it. Said, uncle, I have told very clearly, it is mentioned in your consent form also, your treatment estimate in is inclusive of these, though it is of these things I've given you, these many root canals, these many crowns, these many, you can say, restorations, these many, say whatever procedures I've counted, these are inclusive of that. So, and this includes your crowns based on the basic crowns that I do. He said, I want the best of the crowns, I want this, I want that. He was, because having a too much of expectations. So I tried to mellow down the expectations. I told him very clearly that if you want the best things, then your estimate is going to surely go much up, because in all the procedures that you're getting done, the crowns carry the 75% of the cost. So even if you choose for, you can say, a better crown, which is valued at 10 to 20% higher cost, your estimate for the treatment is going to go up by 20% or nearly 15-18% as well. You need to know that. And I've given you an estimate for this much amount of restorations or this much amount of work to be done. If your restorations turn up in bigger number, then again your estimate goes up. So you need to be very clear about that part. If you're not very clear, let's sit down again, and because I cannot give you 100% exact estimate of what exactly to be done. I've given you a close by estimate, and my estimates are usually in that window. I rarely, you can say, cross my estimates, but yes, 10% variation is always there. So the patient understood that, and the patient's wife was sitting very quietly with him. So after my explanation, she told him, आपको काम भी अच्छा करवाना और पैसे भी नहीं देने हैं, ऐसे थोड़ा ना होगा. काम आप कहते हो बढ़ा दो पैसे, आप बोलते हो घटा दो, तो ऐसे नहीं होगा ना. दोनों में से एक चीज चुन लो. And I didn't have to say anything. I just explained him the way I do it. The patient's wife told him, and he was now settled, now melted down, and he signed the consent form, and we were supposed to begin on that. So it's about the detailing part. People will tend to bargain in the end, but if we set this parameter right at the start, how about it? The only thing that stops us is the fear, the insecurity of losing the patient. And if we can overcome that fear and insecurity, sky is the limit. People have bargaining problem because they nothing have in written. They don't have a witnessed consent, they don't have a treatment approval form, they don't have a actual treatment done list. So people tend to believe that if patients are bargaining, then the patient is at fault. I believe if the patients are bargaining, we are at fault because we were casual and not detailed enough. We were casual and detailing to the patient and were overall less detailed in telling the patient about the detailing of the treatment. So if the patients are not very sure, it's your responsibility to educate them that why are you costly. At the end of the treatment, if you give them a bill in the hand, none of your, you can say, none of your explanation is going to satisfy the patient. So always set the right kind of expectations at the start before you go in for that. So need to upgrade, but has less OPD fear of doing so. You upgrade because you need those things in practice, maybe it decor, be it equipment, be it materials, or be it anything else. You don't fear because of less OPD. It's not that you have to earn from that. And that fear comes when you are not actually putting money back into operations. I mentioned that at least 10% of your money should be plowed back into your profit, should be plowed back into your practice, which means that even if you make an immediate purchase or not, even if you can say do something similar, you can say in terms of decor, terms of equipment, terms of materials, or terms of any upgrade in your practice, can be full chair as well. So you are pretty much sure that those things are covered and you have taken care of that. So if those things are taken care of, there will be no FOMO. And if there is no FOMO, then you are automatically upgrading. I hope that answers your query. So query from Aligarh, Uttar Pradesh. Fellow dentists lowering the treatment charges, other dentists not following the ethics, fellow dentists not giving importance to consent. To put it very lamely, to put it very casually, it's none of your business. It's none of your business. What others do is not important. What you do is more important. So even if people are lowering the treatment charges, they are digging a grave for themselves. Do you want to join them? If not, stick on to what you are charging. Other dentists not following the ethics, they'll be in the legal trouble. You want to join them? No. Keep on following ethics if it is giving you result. Even if it is not giving you results, keep on following it because that is the right thing to do. Fellow dentist not giving importance to consent. You are doing it. It is ethical. It is mandatory as per the law. Perfectly fine. You want to go to that boundary where people drag you into the court that you didn't take a consent. If they are not having a problem, they are probably happy-go-lucky. Are you that happy-go-lucky, or do you want to risk yourself? If not, then all these 3 points are none of your business. You keep on doing what you do best. You keep on charging as per your treatment. You keep on following the ethical code of conduct, and you keep on taking consent because it is a statutory requirement by the law. I hope it answers your query. Query number 99 from Bardoli, Gujarat. Not having guidance or knowledge to prepare customized consent form in local language. How to convince patient to understand and fill the form. Consent is never a filling of the form. You have that mindset from the hospital setup where you have provided a huge blank sheet, multiple sheets, and where you have to fill in the patient names, and you can say it is there. Dental treatment consents are customized. You need to understand that. I'll come to the local language part, but it is not about the written part. The written is just a procedural formality. It is more about the verbal part. You have to detail everything verbally first, including all the pros and the cons, including all the risks and benefits, including all the parallel treatment options, including the costing, including the pitfalls, including the risks of not getting the treatment done as well. Treatment options as well as not getting the treatment done as well. So once you do that verbal detailing part, you just mention that all these things will be in written and you have to sign that as well. If the patient is mentally in sync with your verbal conveying of the things, then the procedural formality is the signing is just a procedural formality. Now, coming to local language, the simple tip that I give is that one of the, you can say, toughest option is not the easy option, but you can have a translator into your clinic. But the simple way is, I believe I tell the patients to, you can say, put in something, you can say, bring a neighbor, family member who understands English, and you convey those things in a local, you can say, in local language, and tell the same that they can read the form, and you can video record the session where you convey the same things in the local language. Ask for a prior permission, video record the session, and take a consent signature even in the English part, mentioning it very clearly that the patient was detailed. You have the video evidence of the same be conveyed in a local language, and the consent form still is in English. The translator is another option, but I believe this option, whichever it is needed in a very, you can say, count wise, it is needed very lesser. You can say, try different methods for the local language, but the local language sometimes can be a little fearful and a little, you can say, more, you can say, killing for the patient, I would say. It actually makes the patient fearful of the treatment to be done. So rather than going in for that, I suggest that you take the consents in English, because consent forms are the easiest to design in English. And you need to, when I take the consent workshop, I not only teach how to make forms, we make about 50 to 55 forms in that workshop. What are those forms? You need to be in there for the workshop to know that. And probably I'll be doing that in March or April. So, and I tell you the way also how to talk and how to convey the same to the patient as well. And this is the way you can be assured that the patient is supposed to follow that. So I hope I answered your query. So query from number 100 from Satra, Maharashtra. Bargaining regarding charges, suggestions on the line of treatment, demand for guarantee, demands of line of treatment as per the Google, how to recover dues of treatment charges. So simply saying, bargaining happens when we don't detail the things, you can say, good enough or in a strong enough manner to the patient at the start, and at the end these will keep on happening. So set the expectations right in terms of bargaining, in terms of treatment charges, in terms of suggestions or whatever. And of course the guarantee warranty thing also, you may pass on the lab warranty of the prosthesis, but with the terms and conditions rider, again that is a thing for discussion for another day. How do I do it? I have a video on that also, so you can follow that. But I don't give warranty guarantee for any procedures. But yes, I do pass on the lab processes, whatever I get from the lab, I pass it on, but with a set of written terms and conditions from my side, what is applicable in that. I make it absolutely clear. If the tooth below the process is breaks with the because of lack of care, the warranty and guarantee is not going to come handy. And I don't mention it verbally, I mention it in the written part. And one copy is with me and one copy is with the patient. So that thing is to be there. So if the patient is a googling patient, as you know, is wanting treatment on demands of the same line, then you need to set the expectations right in the first place. As I said, you need to mention those things clearly. Who is the in charge, who decides the treatment plan, and the patient is still hell-bent on comparing you to Google and wanting you to follow that, happily say a no, refuse the patient. You can refuse any patient before the start, but once you take up the case, you are in a legal foundation to complete that patient, even if the patient does not pay you. The law mandates no fee, no cure is not acceptable. We fall under the Indian Contract Law 1872, which should go away soon, but that law mandates us to complete the treatment when started. So be very cautious of the treatment to be started first. How to recover dues of treatment charges? Try politely, try in a way. If you don't have any documentation, nothing of the legal ways is going to work. So we follow the system of the consent form. We mention the treatment charge in the consent form only, and in the treatment estimate form, which is a 3-in-1 form for us. We use it for three purposes: as a journal history form, as a treatment approval form, and as a treatment estimate form. So it has a 3-in-1 function. Only a few, I can say, lines need to be changed at the bottom and at the top heading, and it becomes a 3-in-1 form for us. This is the way we have designed it. So I've shared that multiple times in the group itself. So and that makes sure if the patient has signed at, you can say, at 2 or 3 places, they are bound to pay that. And yes, you make sure you give them the treatment estimates as well, treatment payment breakdown as well, so that the patient, when they have received the broken payment schedule, they are actually very, very sure about it, that how much to pay, how to pay, when to pay. So, and finish your treatment charges by second or third last sitting. So you won't face any of this problem in that regard. So it is again about detailing everything at the start. If you detail everything, you will have lesser and lesser amount of problems. So I hope I have answered your query. Query number 101 from Mumbai, first year, Maharashtra. Patient flow and conversion when cheap practices are around. Cheap practices are around does not mean that you are going to also fall prey to that. You are also going to, you can say, indulge in that kind of practices. I give that example, कीचड़ में ही कमल खिलता है. So the lotus blooms always in the, you can say, dirt around it. So it does not mean whatever is happening around us, you create a niche for yourself. That even in this substandard world, there is someone who is carrying the torch of ethics, who's carrying the torch of ethical treatment, or you can say good treatment outcome. So follow those things, even if others are not following the same. So you need not worry what people are charging, what people are doing. You need to make sure and pick and choose your patients. If they are having C&D patients, thank God for that, that all those cheap practices have taken away all the C&D patients for you. So what you are left is A and B, amazing and breadwinning. The convenience and the dangerous are all gone to those cheap practices around you. So thank God for this thing. We are actually not very thankful for the small privileges that God Almighty has accorded us. This is one of those privileges. So think about it. I hope I have answered your query. So query number 102 from Meta City, Rajasthan. No consent. So no consent. I'm not sure what do you mean by this, but what I can ascertain is that no consent means that you are not taking any consent. So it is a statutory requirement. You need to take. It is mandatory as per the law. So if you are not taking it, you are actually bordering on being unethical, and consent gives you is actually kind of a license to use before starting the treatment. And if you're not taking consent, I'm not really sure whether you are following the correct way or the correct things or not. I hope I have understood your query and answered it as per the detailing you have done, whatever way. Query number 103 from Ghaziabad, UP. Work-life balance. Patients, lots time consumption consulting than treatment. Lot queries regarding consent, as I prefer consent before treatment. Less awareness about increasing income sources in industry, dental marketing, managing finances, expenses, more income, less. So work-life balance is always a very important wheel in our life. We need not link our work life to certain, you can say, trivial goals. Some people link it to, first I settle in practice, then I will do this. First I, you can say, settle, start earning 2 lakhs per month, then I will take care of my health. It doesn't work that ways. Your health, your wealth, your relationship, your spirituality, your vocation, your recreation, your contribution, and your practice all need to go parallelly in sync with each other. You need to allocate time for each of those things. You don't need to live an or life. You need to live an and life. I don't want, either I can choose my health or I can choose my clinic. I can choose my, you can say, responsibilities, or I can choose my clinic. Either I can choose a contribution or I can choose my clinic. It is an or choice. I want my clinic and my wealth for my future retirement, and my good health and my good relationship and my, you can say, fitness and my recreation and my vocation and my spirituality and my me time and my, you can say, contribution. All these things are a constituent of an and life. Don't live an or life, have that. So patients can spending a lot of time consulting that treatment, probably you are, you can say, going overboard in explaining a few things. Leave a loop open sometimes, let them think. Persuasive skill does not mean you have excellent selling skills. Persuasive skills means sometimes we border on being too pushy. So if you're bordering on being too pushy, you need to really make sure that something needs to, you can say, stop before they cross the line. A lot of queries regarding consent. So it is good you are setting the parameter right, you can say, setting the context right before the actual treatment. And if you are setting the context right before the actual treatment, absolutely sky is the limit. Then you should not be facing any bargaining problems, any compliance problems, any, you can say, appointment time related problems. All those things can be taken care of very easily. So increasing income sources in dentistry are by increasing avenues of income. And by avenues, I mean you increase sources through different modes. You get a patient from word of mouth, you get a patient from your offline networking, you get a patient from your online marketing, online presence, online, I can say, performance marketing. Multiple ways online. Online is by awareness, organic, you can say, through you can say your social media presence, through your content marketing, through your educational marketing, and through your paid or performance marketing. It can be through multiple ways. So increase your sources. People are disregarding online presence today. If you are not present online, you are not educating your audience, you are actually, you can say, you are not having a digital pan and an Aadhaar in this new age world. So you need to be present online, and everybody needs to listen to these things very, very carefully again and again to imbibe those things conceptually. And I didn't talk of these things 3 years back, 4 years back, or almost pre-COVID era. But the COVID era has changed these things. We learned these things, we unlearned these things. I am a guy who has never faced a camera in my life. In my past 20 years before COVID, from 2001 to 2020, except for my marriage, I don't even have 20 pictures of mine in my family album. That speaks of what I was before, you can say. And you can say when I started with the webinars, I was very uncomfortable. I didn't want to do it. Camera तो बहुत दूर की बात है, मैं वीडियो तो बहुत दूर की बात है, कैमरा नहीं खिंचवा सकता. But today I am doing these things very regularly on a, you can say, I'm still not very photogenic. I'm still not very conscious. I'm still not, you can say, very pro in front of that, but I'm not fearful of doing that. And I am improving each day. I have learned now how to face camera at the right angles. Maybe still not getting 100% right, but then if I get 100% right, then it's absolutely, I would say, I have become perfect. And I never want to be perfect. I always want to keep on improving each day. So learn from it. Even if you have not faced camera in your life, you have to adapt that as a learning curve. And I'm not young. I was 43 when COVID happened. Now I'm 47. So I'm not young. If I can adapt in this age, you all can adapt at this age as well. So it is all about the problem is that we sometimes link it to हाय लोग क्या कहेंगे. लोग जो वेले हैं सिर्फ वही कहेंगे, otherwise people will appreciate you. There are no ways about how we think such things, but it is a true fact that we need not worry about those things. People will always comment and, you can say, bash something what they can't do themselves. तो जो लोग खुद वो चीज नहीं कर सकते वो उसी में दूसरे की कमी निकालते हैं. It is easier to criticize than to actually do it. People tell me you should have done this, you should have done that, and once they come into my module and I tell them to do an exercise, then they realize how actually difficult it is to make presentations, how actually difficult it is to do consistent content creation, how actually difficult it is to do, you can say, webinars, how to do handle all those things, along with that learning the technical stuff. So it is easier to sit, you can say sleeping on your bed, lying down in your bed and looking at your phone and attending a webinar. But to actually do it in a way, somebody who is doing it is very, very difficult. So easier to criticize, but difficult to emulate, and more difficult to even do it actually yourself. So I hope, yes, managing finances. So expenses more, income less. You can say search out which are the sources of your leakage from your clinic or your expenses. What are the sources of, you can say, what are the reasons for less income, what are the reasons for more expenses. If you find answers to that, absolutely you will find a way to stop them also. So what you need is a clarity part and nothing else. So query number 104 from Ahmedabad, Gujarat: less footfall, less big ticket. The simple answer: less footfall, less visible, less big ticket, less credible. Simple one-line answer. If you are having less footfall, that means you are not visible to your target audience. Less big ticket means people don't trust you easily. You are not credible enough. How will the credibility come? Through your website, through your before and after cases, through your testimonials, through your feedback, through your videos, the video testimonials, through your Google reviews. And you can say all these things put into, you can say, in a digital mode on your website and on your online social media as well, where you showcase your potential to the audience or your potential audience that yes, you can handle these things. But if you can't showcase these to the world, then I'm sorry to say, then you will continue to face these problems. So query number 105 from Patiala, Punjab. Wow. So after learning so much about specialized jobs like GBR, GTR, sinus lift. So you mentioned songs lifts. So must be sinus lifts. So retrieval of selected files from canal, sinus lifts. The 90% patients don't continue treatment due to no medical insurance, higher cost according to them. Patients want to have world-class treatment done without paying, not coming at scheduled appointments, and still wants to have lifelong guarantee. See, I think you have multiple questions. Now I'll address one by one. So, see, you learn these skills for what reason? The primary thing is when we go in for specialized training or any equipment upgrade, the first parameter we always need to look at it is what is or who is our target audience, and are we upgrading as per them? Upgrading for your own self, that you want to learn implants, you want to learn advanced implant techniques, is absolutely fine. And I'm not saying Patiala is a small city. Patiala is a good city, is a decently big size city, not comparable to Ludhiana, but it falls, you can say, after Amritsar, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Patiala is the next, and Bathinda. These are the next big cities we know in Punjab. So of course, Mohali not counting. Mohali we count in Chandigarh itself. So what you need to understand is that if you have done these things out of your own choice, without having a look at your target audience, you need to ascertain that you will not have immediate results. The ROI potential needs to be evaluated. Yes, now that you have done it, you believe that this thing has potential. The next step for you is to do educational or content marketing. You need to go in for those things which are going to give you results, which are going to make your public aware, which are going to make your target audience aware, which are going to make your patients aware about these things that you are offering them. What are the benefits of these? Not the features, but the benefits of these. Why buy this? Why buy from me? And why buy now? These are the three important questions that the patients need to answer. So then patients want to have world-class treatment and without paying. Trust me, I absolutely don't agree with this. Nobody wants a world-class treatment without paying. People may want a decent size treatment without paying. That is okay. Without paying or with pay, without paying means without paying good amount. So nobody will do that. So set the expectations right at the start. You can say lay out a buffet of the things that you need to do or need to have in that sense. So if the patient is, you can say, very clear about this thing, that I can choose a lesser option or a better option. As I gave you the example that the patient that came yesterday, the 90+-year-old, the retired SP patient. So I gave them the option. If you want the basic round, these are the charges. And again, the estimate is variable up to 10% plus minus, as I've told you, and as you're going to sign on this also, verbally detailed to you before. But if you're insisting on that thing, then I'm sure I have to add one line in there that the patient insists on getting better crowns. So accordingly the estimates will change accordingly. At the time of, I added that line there manually in front of the patient. At the time of the consent, the patient insists for better crowns, which other than what have been promised in the estimate form. The base in the bracket I wrote the basic PFMs. So, and which will proportionately increase the estimate as informed to the patient. And the patient knew that I am signing it, and it was written over there. So my printer was having a problem yesterday, so that is why I wrote it manually. Otherwise, we take a fresh printout of that thing on the same day. So Coming to the next part, patients don't follow things scheduled visits, timing, cancel their appointments even without prior notice, don't follow payment scheduled as mentioned, even after signing consent before starting treatment. Then again, I would say you have been doing your best, but being persuasive about setting up a system is very important. When I started to set up my appointments way back in 2007, it was not the norm. It was the norm that you take an appointment and go to the dentist, and still you can say have to wait for that time. It took me 1 year to settle that. So there are things that will settle time. You have to go on constantly repeating those things and making your patients understand a certain norm. But yes, constant repetition is going to make a difference, and it is going to make a difference big time if you want to inculcate those things in your practice. Patients who are more educated have doubts and more hesitance in signing consent in comparison to less educated. This is a classical example that knowledge actually blurs so many things which are there in front of us. So people who are educated will have doubts, but as I said, consent is more of a verbal thing first, is not of a written thing first. So detail everything verbally so that the procedural signing becomes a formality itself. So that people don't have any doubt left. If you have detailed verbally, you can say written would not be a issue in that. So I hope that answers your query. So with this, we come to the end of session number 8. We will start from query number 106 from Anand, Gujarat tomorrow at same time. And I wish you a great day. And I stop my share for any queries. If you want to ask, please unmute yourself, switch on your camera, and feel free to ask anything that you want to. Any queries? Okay, great. If you have no queries, I'll see you in the evening with session number 269 on finance, episode number 8, and at 7:30. And again, we won't do a recap, and straight away within 2 to 3 minutes, we'll start away right with the queries presenter. So, what is your
Sir,
homework for? Just a minute. Just a minute. I'll take the query. So what is your procedure to be done? So this is the upcoming thing, 269, 270 tomorrow morning, episode number 9. And of course, this is the workshop that is coming up in 2 homework. Post your top 3 to 5 takeaways in the group or on social media, wherever you are with me. Writing is the best form of learning. I'm sure you would want to cement your learnings as writing is the best form. So this is my social media presence. You all know by now. YouTube also by same name, Facebook community by same name, and WhatsApp community also. If you are not in part of that, let me know, and your feedback. And of course, I stop the session for queries. Yes, Divya, you can go ahead and ask your query.
Sir, how do people, I want to understand the process. How do people start multiple branches of their clinic in the same city or in different cities?
See, what aspect do you want to know on this?
In the sense, say there is a clinic in Bangalore and they open a branch in Mumbai, or they open a branch in Delhi. How are they balancing their finances? Because when you open a new practice in another city or even in the same city, it will it will increase your overhead expenses.
See, even in the same city or even in different cities, people work on the franchisee model. They feel that now their brand is built up, so they want to now scale their operations because it is you can say a thing that is mentioned on their visiting card or on their profile or on their social media or on their website, that we have branches in Delhi, Mumbai, and Kolkata as well. So which tells them that this is a big brand which is established. It actually adds to the brand value. Even if some people go on distributing their franchises for free. So I'm not really sure everybody does it for free or at a very lesser cost. But yes, having said that, the aim is to actually rename that clinic to the original franchisee and set up the charges as per according to that also. But again, I'm not really sure 100% of those things are followed or not, and 100% of those protocols that are followed in the original clinic are followed or not. But yes, it surely adds to the perception and the brand value that people aim at. What you mentioned that standardization is maintained or not, different cities is a different ball game altogether. It may not be possible in the same city as well. Somebody might be in the urban area strata of the, you can say, a city, and the franchisee may be in the rural population kind of, or you can say the lower income group kind of population. So the same standards can't be met, even the same charges can't be met, but just adds to the brand value. We have branches in this, we have branches in Bangalore urban, Bangalore rural, we have branches in Mumbai, Calcutta, Delhi. Mention it on website, mention it on social media, and the perception is created. We live in the world of perception. Are these other
Does
social
financially,
influencers? Are these other social influencers? And actual, I know at least you can say 5-6 of them. They have two problems. Number one, they say business तो असली आप लोग कर रहे हो, हम लोग तो सिर्फ एक false world create करके बैठे हैं. That is the number one problem कि actual revenue नहीं आ रहा उनको. ठीक है ना? They are so called influencer. दूसरी उनके सबसे बड़ी problem, they say मैं कहीं मॉल में जाऊं और कम से कम 10 लोग मेरे साथ सेल्फी ना खिंचाएं तो मेरे को शाम तक डिप्रेशन हो जाता है. So what is this? This is a false illusion they're living in. So we are living in a perception free world, and unfortunately we are falling prey to that as well. We create, wow, must be a very good clinic, must be a very well settled clinic, इनकी इतनी branches हैं, so they must be doing something good कि इनको फ्रेंचाइजी मिली है, इन्होंने ऐसे किया. हो सकता है उन्होंने फ्रेंचाइजी अपने फ्रेंड्स को ही दी हो सिर्फ परसेप्शन क्रिएट करने के लिए. That is how the world works today, and we all fall prey to that. Yes, what were you asking?
long term, does it make sense, sir, in India? In foreign countries, it's a big deal, but in India, does it make sense having multiple branches? In long term,
See,
will it sustain itself?
there are two factors in this. Number one, are you actually concerned with the franchisee following standardization or not? If you've just taken a upfront money ki theek hai 1 lakh 2 lakh 3 lakh 5 lakh whatever amount, give me, and you can use my brand name and logo, and you have my franchisee now. Okay, uske baad I care a damn whether what you're doing inside your practice. Or clinics and fast food joints are something else. वो क्लिनिक्स की टैगिंग नहीं ना होती. मैकडोनल्ड्स की हर जगह फ्रेंचाइजीज हैं, तो मैकडोनल्ड दिल राइट मैकडोनल्ड दिल्ली यू आर सेलिंग शिट, just an example. So it gets tagged on social media everywhere, and the parent franchisee will know that something is wrong. So they will disown the franchisee, take back. उनका system different होता है. It is not only the upfront money, it is sharing of profits also, paying a monthly fee also, and taking raw material from the original franchisee as well. अब इसमें ये थोड़ा ना होगा कि आप अपना GC कैल्सोजन उनसे मंगवा रहे हो ओरिजिनल फ्रेंचाइजी से. So this doesn't work that way. As I said, आपकी लोकेशन, आपकी ब्रांडिंग, आपकी टारगेट ग्रुप मे बी टोटली डिफरेंट. So you can't actually, you can say, have a similar situation. Even if somebody tags you, for example, you can say Smile Dental Clinic, Smile Dental Clinic Bangalore, you are bad than your Mumbai branch. Then somebody might have been there to experience both the branches. And how much is that actually a possibility? Very, very low. Very, very low. So foreign countries, even in Indian, for retail, for consumer segments, it is different. For services sectors like this, it is just a perception and the brand value and the initial upfront money that is making a difference. उसके बाद किसी को घंटा फर्क नहीं पड़ता कोई क्या कर रहा है क्या नहीं कर रहा. उन्होंने अपना पैसा लिया, बात खत्म. कल को क्या हो जाएगा? As per the legal agreement or document, you can use this brand for this years, or maybe उसमें कोई payback clause हो कि हाँ I'll pay you back and I disown the franchisee. वो लीगल एग्रीमेंट्स में आपके एग्रीमेंट में क्या लिखा है, इट इज डिपेंडेंट अपॉन दैट. सो अदर देन दैट, इन टुडेज टाइम्स, इट इज जस्ट यू कैन से यस, इट एड्स टू परसेप्शन एंड इट गिव्स यू मोर वर्क. पीपल विल गेट इल्यूजन कि हाँ इस डॉक्टर के पास इतने क्लिनिक्स हैं, so they may throng to the clinic. It makes a difference in your overall revenue for sure, but to the original franchisee, Or maybe the Delhi guy can write, we have branches in Bangalore and that also. The franchisees may also benefit from them, but if they're maintaining a standard or not. So perception wise, work wise, yes. Revenue wise, yes, it makes a difference. But overall standardization, not really sure. Not really sure. Get a point? Okay. Any more queries? Okay, then we are done. So see you in the evening at 7:30 and tomorrow morning for this episode 269 and 270. And do post your takeaways for the benefit of the larger public. And because today, whichever FB group it is streaming to, that is a very, very close group. It is not having much of participants because I am streaming different day to different groups. So yesterday it was streamed to PhD, today it will be streamed to a different group. So tomorrow again to a different group. So I'll keep on doing that. So thank you so much for your patient hearing. And I see you in the evening at 7:30. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a great day.